Ndị Igbo, what does Agwu ịma mmadụ mean? Now, most of us, either we are reverting back to our Igbo indigenous belief system, or we are basically researching on what these concepts mean to Ndị Igbo, or you've gone to a dibia for divination and they tell you you are possessed by this god talent, Agwu. So what does Agwu mean? Now, I'm a very big fan of explaining Igbo concepts from an Igbo ancestral perception, or from an Igbo understanding, how our ancestors or how we understand these things, not from an outsider perspective. And when I mean outsider perspective, I'm talking about Christian perspectives. Now, Agwu, to our ancestors, they understood Agwu as an energy of creativity. They understood Agwu as an energy that influences an individual's cognitive ability. Our ancestors understood Agwu as an energy that makes an individual stand out from his or her peers. Our ancestors understood Agwu as an energy that inspires an individual and transmits cosmic knowledge from the universal mind Uchechukwu to an individual it is tethered to. Now, this is the Igbo interpretation of Agwu. We also need to understand that our ancestors saw Agwu as a cosmic force of nature that basically tinkers around with creativity, that tinkers around with what makes us different, that tinkers around with what makes us who we are psychologically, emotionally, and our intellectual capacity. This is the predominant interpretation of what Agwu is. Now, sometimes people refer to Agwu as mmuo kpasa, an energy of distraction, or an energy of illusion, or an energy of confusion. But the answer is that it is not Agwu that is at work. It's an aspect of Agwu. Now, we also need to understand this particular one by understanding the concept of ihe pụrụ, ihe akwụdobeye. When something exists, another thing is going to exist beside it. It's just like the concept of yin and yang, good and evil, husband and wife, enu na ani, ọkụ na oyi, mmiri na ọkụ. When something exists, something else is also going to exist beside it. That's where the concept of Agwu and the concept of Olo or Oro Agwu comes in. Concept of Agwu and the concept of Oro or Olo Agwu. Now, this aspect of Agwu encourages an individual's vices as a way to deter an individual from reaching their full Agwu potential. Therefore, when an Agwu in the Igbo sense is striving to positively influence an individual, Olo Agwu or Oro Agwu or Ndi Oro Agwu is dedicated at preventing it by channeling an individual away from positive virtues that would strengthen his or her Agwu. Let's bring it, these are like cosmic interpretations, so let's bring it to more like a real life interpretation. Now, as a student, or if you're a student or you're working, whichever field that you are, you would understand that for you to progress, for you to do something in a certain way, you need to work with a certain degree of discipline. No matter the field you are, if you're a student and the only thing you do is instead of going to classes, paying attention, doing your assessment, your classwork, and all those things, you decide to party, you decide to go to one in-house party or the other, or one bonfire or the other, it is going to affect your academic work. As a businessman, as a person, your instead of you to focus on your career, your attention span is divided in the sense, instead of you to concentrate on your work, the money you're getting, no matter how big or small it is, you're spending more than you're earning, or you're channeling your strength into womanizing, promiscuity, drunkenness, all those vices. So Oluagu, they encourage these vices. They encourage you to basically um focus on those vices. Yes, instead of you to channel your energy into more productive things, Oluwago will encourage you to channel your energy into unproductive things. Now, our ancestors always spiritualize things, but I figured out that there are two sides of everything. There is a spiritual connotation and there is a physical connotation. So once I see this concept, I draw a line between the two. I'm looking at it from a spiritual point of view, and I'm also looking at it from a physical point of view. Now, for a spiritual point of view, Awo on its own, it's there trying to inspire you. It is there trying to make you better. It is there trying to give you, positive vibes. Whereas Orago, or things that we refer to as Orago, when they go on and unacknowledged, they begin to basically, deviate your mind and encourage vices that are going to destroy your relationship with your Awu. So Awu Mmadu loosely means being affiliated or tethered cosmically to this force Awu. And through this affiliation, an individual will be able to achieve greatness or serve the universe or the community. And we have this adage, omenka na-emelu onwe omenka na-emelu onwe ya, mana ọkpụ ụzụ na ụlọ obodo. Omenka is an entertainer or an artistic person. Then Okpozu becomes we call them, you can say maybe a technocrat, you can say an inventor, a blacksmith, or an Okpozu, somebody that develops things that the community are supposed to use or would use. For instance, now all of us are communicating through mobile devices. We're communicating through mobile devices. I'm going to upload this video on my YouTube. All this, technologies. Now, this is what was in the Igbo sense. The person that developed all these devices or all this that wrote the code and all those things, these are in a way on the also, because they brought out and they gave us what we are all using, and their technology, their innovations, the whole community, the whole world are benefiting from their innovations. That's where our ancestors said, Omenka na-emelu onwe ya. Like an entertainer, somebody that is artistic, the person is just doing it and trying to get something in return that is going to be for him alone, his pockets, even if he's entertaining the world, making us happy, but what he's doing is his own pocket, his own self-interest first. And when I say self-interest, I'm not saying that the self-interest is bad, but his own self-interest first. But Okpozu is doing something that are beneficial to the community. Even if he's making money out of it, it does not matter. It is beneficial to the community. So this is where this adage basically comes in. Now, to avoid any form of confusion, we need to note that every individual has an Agwu, because Agwu translates to Akonuche, knowledge. But some specific individuals are more tethered to a specific Agwu more than others. Hence, these individuals have been destined to stand out and be greater than their peers in those fields. For instance, everybody is in the market hustle, everybody is a businessman. But there are people that are endowed with this essence of Awu. These kinds of people, they will be in their dreams, they will be dreaming, and they will be Awu. Their Awu will be teaching them new innovative way to boost their business, could even give them revelations about an upcoming product that they can bring into the market. They can bring into the market, and they're going to make good sales from it. So these are the varieties. Now there are different types of Agwu. There are different types of Agwu. The same way ndị Igbo will say akaraka dị iche, akaraka onye ọbụla dị iche. Your talent, we have different talents. The same way ndị Igbo understand that there are different types of Agwu, ranging from Agwahia. Agwahia now is dedicated to the various businessmen and various businesswomen. The Agwu that they are endowed with is tied strongly to the market. Agwu ahia, agwu ezu afia. Now they will tell you that even if this person is selling toothpick, or if this person is selling atosisi, the chewing stick, the person will be making millions, will be recording millions in a year or even in a month, because that person is tied to his or her akaraka or his or her akalowa. He's tied, and the person is going to be progressing hugely more than another person that his or her destiny is not tailored to that to the market. Now we have Agudibia. We have Agudibia. Unfortunately, people always tie Agu to a Dibia. Once you tell somebody Agu Mage, the person is only thinking, ah, so I'm going to be a Dibia. But Agu is simply Akonuchi. Ako mad. So we have Agu Dibia. Here we have Dibia for people that are diviners. We have the herbalist, Dibia Orogun. We have the Dibia Aja, even the marine intercessors, Ezenwoke na Ezenwani, Owummiri, all those ones. And we now have Agwu Nkanozu. Agwu Nkanozu. Now within this sector, you will now see people, the technocrats, the creators, the inventors, artists, scientists. This is their domain. Agwu Nkanozu. Then I've already explained Nka, entertainers and all those things. Now this Nkanozu means science and technology. It also means science and the applications of scientific knowledge. So this is the Igbo interpretation of this concept, Agwu. Now our ancestors used the ritual of Ero Agwu to consecrate this Agwu energy and create an interface for communication or communion and acknowledgement of this Agwu energy. Within this ritual, we also represent Ndi Olu Agwu. We represent them because our ancestors, they believe that once they represent something, they can be able to understand it better. They can be able to cage it. They can be able to drive it away. They can be able to manipulate it. They can be able to use it for one thing or the other. So as we are recognizing this Agwu through Ero Agwu, we are also acknowledging the negative aspects of Olu Agwu. The negative aspects of Agwu, which is Olu Agwu. And mostly we acknowledge Olu Agwu using the left hand. That's why in our culture, people don't take things from the left hand. An elderly person, you cannot give an elderly person anything using your left hand, and the person will not even take it. As a child or a younger person, if an elder wants to give you something and you stretch out your left hand, the person is going to withdraw his or her gift, or whatever they want to give you, they withdraw it. It's a sign of disrespect, and it's a sign of what you're doing. Oh, hello, lalo. Now, this is why it happens. Now, we acknowledge Oluagu, these vices with our left hand. And here we give Oluagu things, or the space that we create for Oluagu. We create it at the back of any representation of Agwo that we have. And mostly we do this representation with two osisi ogilishi. We put it into it and we now give it things. If you maybe you want to give it something and say, oh yeah, I don't want your problem, I don't want your distraction, I don't want your problem, you acknowledge it by giving it. If it's alcohol, or if you just give it to it. So that's the perception there, is that that acknowledgement helps to cage its effect. Now, as you're caging it by spiritualizing it, it is also a testament for you to be aware, because once you are aware that something exists, you can be able to basically know how to deal with it. So you have acknowledged the Orawu in your own way, as the Orawu is trying to basically spiritually, remove things that are going to cause those distractions. You in your physical existence, you'll also be attentive and try not to, indulge or involve yourself in Orawu activities. That's the Igbo perception here. So I now said here that they also represent Oluagu and acknowledging it by using the left hand, because it is considered as Ihelolwalo, which are simply vices. So this is the various interpretations of Agu, Agu Mmadu, Oluagu, and Ero Agwu. So these are the information that I have. And if you enjoyed my teachings today, don't forget to give me a like. Don't forget to also follow or subscribe. And until next time, yeah, guys, yeah.